press.
There we
Okay,
go.
I think it's on now. There we go. All right, it's the post-fight podcast. What's up, everybody? Nicholas Atkin here in Hong Kong. I'm at home, not in the office today because it's Saturday. It's my day off. But of course, I wanted to recap Bellator 261 and PFL 6, and these two lovely gentlemen here very kindly agreed to give me their time and do it. I got JHK over there. Big Rig, Drake Riggs in the house down below. What's up, guys? John, how are you doing, sir?
On this Saturday, I am
On this
lovely.
And
I just
Big Rig.
woke up, drank my tea and crumpets, and watched Bellator 261.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I see.
I see how it is today. Terrible trio back at your homes,
Yes.
everybody. Yeah, I'm good too. You know, it's annoying to watch two events at the same time, I would say, but we got through it. John and I were mentioning that before you hopped on. So not the worst night. I mean, it was a pretty bad night, I'll be honest, for myself, but you know, hey, let's talk about it.
Yes, Drake, you've angered the MMA gods, haven't you?
I
Your
guess
favorite,
so, man.
Kana Watanabe, suffering a huge loss there to Liz Carmouche. We will get to that, I think, because we're going to start with Bellator, aren't we, guys? Want to do that? Or PFL?
Yeah,
Of course, Bellator.
So we all had dual screens going on, did we? One laptop, one TV, or what? What was your setup like, John?
Yeah, my laptop was Bellator, and then my computer was PFL, but then I had to get up and do things, make my daughter breakfast and come back, and I missed some stuff, but I watched most of it, right? I watched most of it, and it was confusing because you're like, especially when the main event was going on in Bellator, because that fight was brutal, man. That fight was just like a hard-nosed fight. I loved it, but then Pettis was fighting too, and it was just like they were going at it back and forth too, and it was fun, man. It was a decent night of fights.
Decent. Yes, I was doing some chores. I did my laundry. I had PFL on the TV, Bellator on the laptop. My phone actually overheated at one point because there was so much action, and this was the personal hotspot I was using because I don't have Wi-Fi in my building; it's too old. So that tells you everything you need to know. It was an action-packed morning over here. Drake, what was your setup like?
So I had split screen on my one screen where I just had the tab on the side. Then I put my tweet deck right at the bottom corner just so I could see the one tweets that were coming up. And then once it went to the PFL main card, that was on TV. So I was like, all right, I'll put that one on TV, leave Bellator on the laptop screen. And so, yeah, that's what we were rocking with. It was kind of bad for the neck, but, you know, that's what you get for two events at one time.
Yes. Why did they manage to schedule these two events at the same time? I was saying to John, or Drake, was it? I was talking to you. I thought PFL was yesterday, and I booked the studio out of the office ready to do this podcast there with my new fancy setup, only to learn it was the weigh-ins, not the actual.
Yeah,
show.
right.
So, why did PFL switch to the Friday night from the Thursday night slot? I kind of like that Thursday slot for them.
Yeah, I like it too. I don't know. The only thing I could think of was because of the fact that Palmer and Pettis got pushed back. They were supposed to fight earlier, but I was like, would they really? It's only a day, but like, would they really move it just for those two guys? So I have no idea. Maybe John knows something about it, but I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, John, what do you know?
Word on the street. Word on the street is that you know, I don't know why they moved it Friday. Come on, man. Like, is there a secret that's going around? I have no idea. I
Maybe
just think,
a playoff hockey or something.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it must have to do with ESPN, right? Because that's
right.
who broadcasts them, right? So something must have been happening yesterday on Thursday night, and well, you know, but didn't they have a Friday night show a few weeks back? Like, not a few weeks back, but earlier in the season. I believe so, right? They had a Friday and then they had a Thursday. So those are the 2 days that they stick with. Bellator, it seems like Bellator, that's their day, right? Friday night is Bellator night. Thursday is PFL night. They should keep it like that, right? But
yeah,
I guess they wanted to go head to head because really, if you think about it, Bellator's card wasn't the most noteworthy card out there, right? So maybe that was something strategic on PFL's, behalf, saying like, let's go head to head and see who pulls in the most. And it does help that ESPN is ESPN, right? And usually you want to watch sports, you just turn on ESPN if you're stateside or wherever in the world. So maybe it is something. Maybe they're doing something we don't know that they're doing, and they're trying to confuse us. But it's not fun for us because we don't want to watch 2 events at one time. That's not something that we want to do. We want to focus on the event. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, we should move on from this because I'm just going down the rabbit hole of nonsense right now.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Bellator then. And I guess we'll start with the main event, even though it wasn't very exciting, I thought at least. But did you like this fight, guys? Some people said it was good.
This guy talking about there's no excitement in the meeting. Dude, those dudes was going at it. Tim Johnson's just like Tim Johnson was like going in there, like look, just like screaming at the dude, right? Like, come on, hit me in the face. You know, like he was like a S&M character or something. Like just blood everywhere, just hit me in the face, and they were just trying to brawl, right? But you
Look
picked
at his mustache in that picture.
Oh God, dude. It doesn't even look real. You know what Tim Johnson reminds me of? He reminds me of the archetype of a bare knuckle boxer. I don't know why. Like, especially in the fight today, it's like imagine if they were fighting bare knuckle. I would have picked Tim Johnson to win, right? But they're not fighting bare knuckle, and they're fighting MMA, so that's why I picked Valentin, who is also cornered by Fedor Emelianenko, if I'm saying that right.
And
Nemkov.
Nemkov.
And Nemkov, right? So the fight, not Nick's flavor, but I thought it was great. The guys were going at it. They were in the clinch a lot. You know, they were in close quarters, and it feels like they had a lot of headbutts too, man. When they were just going and they would just headbutt each other. I'm surprised there weren't more cuts from that. I think Valentine just executed a game plan a little bit better than Tim. I think Tim was just in there to just get bloody and leave his guts in the floor. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't even really attempt any takedowns, which you thought would have been a better path to victory. And even Bader pointed that out right afterward, which is like, yeah, champ knows what's up. But yeah, I thought that this fight was better than I expected it to be. I don't think it was the best fight ever, so I'm a little bit in between both of you guys, but I really wasn't excited for it all going into it. Just didn't do anything for me. But yeah, I thought it turned out pretty all right, and I think the right guy won. But boy, oh boy, I disagreed with the scorecards. I did not think that Moldavsky won 4 rounds. I felt pretty good about Timmy starting off those first 2 rounds. I thought he looked pretty sharp and got those ones done, but then the rest of the way was Valentin. You could kind of argue for that 5th round, but him winning all 5, that is just an awful scorecard. 4 people were making arguments to me on Twitter, but I still think that's bad. I think 3 rounds for either guy is the right answer I could see, but anything past that is insane to me.
Yeah, but there were some close rounds though. I could say that. Like some of the rounds was just like, what just happened? Like it was like kind of a blur into from the last round, right? It's just a continuation of what they were doing. So, but yeah, I agree. 50-45. It's like who and what were you watching? Like, were you drinking? Was he drinking beers? Was he taking shots of Patron on Kate's side, or what was going on? Right, like 50-45. Was this dude Russian? Is that what was going on? Is like, did he have the home cooking?
It was Doug Crosby. That's who it was.
Oh my God, that's another one, right? Anything that is even close to the word Cosby, like I just don't like too much.
Fair.
Well, Valentin Moldavsky, now your interim heavyweight champion, Bellator. There you go. I haven't got much more to say, guys.
Not much excitement with that, right? Just like he's the interim champion, yes. Like he has a belt. Now, what does he do? What's the situation with Ryan Bader? Yeah, what's going on with Ryan Bader? Anyways,
he's in the tournament, dude. He's in the light heavyweight tournament.
That's right. That's right.
He's taking on Corey Anderson.
That's right. So Moldavsky, would you have him defend the title, Drake, or would you wait until the tournament is over? Because I don't think Ryan Bader's gonna go far in this tournament. I think Corey Anderson has a good chance of beating him. So do you wait for Ryan Bader to get the tournament over with, or do you defend the title against the next guy? What do you think is a good option for him?
I agree and disagree with you a little bit, because I don't think Bader's gonna win, because I think Nemkov or Rumble will probably get it done, and those guys are fighting each other next. I cannot wait for that fight. But I think he can beat Corey. I think it's going to be a tough fight because Corey is looking awesome right now. So in terms of the heavyweight title, though, I think that you at least have to wait to see how that fight plays out. If he wins, if Bader wins and goes on, then you let Moldavsky defend against I don't know, somebody, right? And then if he loses, though, then all right, there you go. You can make the unification bout. But yeah, it would be kind of silly to. I mean, you could have Moldavsky defend, make a fight for him before that, and just like give Bader rest time potentially if he's to lose right there, because maybe he'll need it, depending on how he loses, right? So it really hinges on that one, that's for sure. But again, then you have to look at the options for Moldavsky. Like, what would you have him fight? Congo or where's Minikov, man? Where the hell is Vitaly Minikov? I want to see that guy back so bad. Who knocked out Tim Johnson like not super long ago, was maybe 2 years, but still fairly recently. So yeah, I think it really hinges though on Bader's next fight for sure.
Okay. So what I liked the most was actually Nemkov towering over him at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Big light heavyweight.
Interesting, because if Nemkov, is he still interested in getting the heavyweight belt? They had talked about that before, but if they're teammates, co-proteges under Fedor, would they want to do that fight? You know more about Bellator than me, Drake. I cannot lie. I'm not.
Nemkov and Moldavsky potentially. What you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like with a lot of fighters, you think about it like training partners and whatnot. They, depending on how close they are, they don't prefer to fight each other, especially if it's non-title. But if there's belts and that kind of thing on the line, I think they're a whole lot more open to it. So, I don't know how close they are or anything like that, but with belts on the line and that kind of thing, I think they'd probably be down. We'll see.
Belts on the line and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of course. Mr. JHK is on the Bellator rankings panel. So don't explode at me, John. But
I'm exploding right now. I'm just look at my hands. I'm exploding right now.
Oh, it's so funny.
I'm exploding right now. Huh?
Who was that? Rain Lamina. Was it?
Where's Rain?
Okay.
Come on,
Where's Rain?
Hop back in, buddy.
Hop into the chat.
I don't want to explode, Rain.
Oh, that's right over your face. Okay, let's go on then to, I think this is what everyone wants to talk about, guys. Liz Carmouche. Wow. I'm going to bring this up on screen, but holy moly, Drake, RIP. Sorry, this was horrible for you. I know the Counter Gang, all your crew, are they here in the chat? Have you retweeted this link so they can come and discuss
I did.
the demise?
I don't think they want to, though.
Yes, everyone is just upset, hiding. 35 seconds, I think it was, in the first round. Yes, Liz Carmouche. Wow. She poured it on there.
How did you even pick Kana in this fight? Like, come on. Liz Carmouche? She beats everybody that's not a top 5 fighter.
I just rode the wave of the Kana gang.
I don't understand how you guys justify
the Army.
Kana Army.
Yeah, the Kana Army or whatever, right? And shout out to the Kana Army. You guys are I don't know what you guys are. You guys are Kana Army, whatever. But Kana, she's good, but man, you're putting her against like someone that has been in the fire with like some of the best ever, right? To do it. And I think a lot of people was just swollen up in the hype, though. I understand supporting a fighter, but when you really look at it realistically, Liz Carmouche, man, there's not many girls out there that could beat her. I'm just gonna be real with you. There's not many, And now she just looks incredible, right? Kana went in there. That's like, what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Anderson Silva when he smashed Chris Lieben. That's what it kind of reminded me of right there. It was just very similar. 35 seconds. Man, Carmouche just went in there and just showed everybody she needs that title shot. Like she wants it. She's hungry because Carmouche is not really known as a finisher, right, Drake? Am I wrong about that?
No, dude. Her her Bellator debut against Bennett was her only finish in like the last 10 years, like literally.
Yeah,
Like eight or years or so.
and you know what? She's having a rebirth, man, in Bellator. What, she's undefeated with Bellator. I think she's 3-0, maybe 4-0
Yeah.
with Bellator. I think she's up there for the next, next shot, right? Would you disagree? Because I think if Kana would have won, they would have probably pushed her, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Liz arguably should have got the title fight before this. Like after beating Ben, they were talking about it when she came right in. Like they were like, we could, set you up with the Lima. They were talking about it. They were both game. So it's kind of surprising that they've made her actually work this hard for it. And now it's just completely undeniable. Like, yes, Key Holtz has a good case to be getting it, which is next month. The streak she's been on, she's looking amazing. But like Liz Carmouche and her resume, and now what she's done since then against who, like Porto, and then now knocking off Kana like this, she 100% deserves it. And yeah, if Kana would have won too, she would have got it, I think. But the thing about this matchup in particular, and why I think, people believe so much, is obviously undefeated fighter. That's always fun. But you look at the backgrounds and the styles, and it was like, okay, we want to see what happens if they grapple, right? That's the thing that will be interesting. Who's going to be stronger? Because, they're both incredibly strong flyweights, but Liz didn't even let it get there, which is the most surprising part about this. It's not surprising at all that Liz Carmouche won. She was the rightful favorite. I mean, there's no other way around that. But the fact that she went out there and looked like, a kickboxer, that was the biggest surprise of all. And if she can keep that up, that's going to be pretty scary for either Velasquez or Key Holtz, who are both fantastic strikers in their own right. And that makes things a whole lot more exciting than they might have already been. But again, at the same time, we do know that Kana's weakness has been her striking, and maybe more so her striking defense than the offense, because we have seen her, get some knockouts. I mean, I guess just one against Shizuka Sugiyama, which people do think was early, but, she has shown some striking abilities, not the best, but, it is what it is. And, shout outs to the GOAT, Megumi Fuji, for saying that she tweeted out afterwards, it'll be good for Kana probably to learn from this. And, first loss, that's the one that you learn from the most. So I think she'll come back stronger. Yes, she definitely needs to change camps and go somewhere that can benefit her a little bit better than what she's getting now. Like, you can go with your camp from the beginning to a certain point, and obviously that takes you only so far. So we'll see if she recognizes that after a 35-second loss. You would hope and think so. I think she's smart enough to, but it's just a matter of getting out of your comfort zone, right, John? That's kind of a thing a lot of fighters will fall into. So I'm very curious to see, where she goes from here. But as for Liz, we know where she's going. She is fighting for the title, and if she's not, she should leave Bellator. Like, she's very happy with them, but if you don't get the title shot after that, you gotta bust down some doors, yo.
Yeah, man. Just, like, look at who she's beaten, like OG Trailmatic. Like, that sounds pretty good. Liz Carmouche has wins over Jennifer Maya, Lauren Murphy, Jessica Andrade, Caitlin Chukay, and a doctor stoppage against Val. Look at those names, man. Like, I don't understand how people were trying to pick her, Kana, to win, man. I kept quiet ahead of the fight, right? I didn't want to bash Kana heading into this fight, but that one fight that Kana had for Ryzen where she went in and she knocked out
Shizuka.
I forgot her name. Yeah, I think that was one of the
12
worst
seconds or so.
Yeah, I think that was one of the worst things that could happen to her. Because really, she thought her striking was phenomenal after that. Probably she was had this false sense of security in her striking. And man, once she got lit up bad, it was like one of those Robin Black highlight videos of bing, 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 bing. It was like bowling balls, right? Just hitting bowling pins. Just, man, it just looked like it made Liz Carmouche, who's not really the most powerful striker, it made her look like a high level kickboxer, right? It was just weird. It just shows you the deficiency, right? Liz Carmouche, she's only lost to Marlos Kunin, Sarah Kaufman, Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, Alexis Davis, and Valentina Shevchenko. Those are her only losses, dude.
That Davis one, I really don't think she lost either.
That was a split too, right? She probably won that fight. A lot of people believe. If Liz doesn't get a title shot, and if she's not ranked number 1, right? Maybe at least number 2 or
John,
3 in that
you
top
can
3. If
help
she's
with
not,
that.
if she's not there, right around that top 3 now, you know what I mean? Because wasn't Kana ranked higher than Liz? Was that right?
She was
No,
right
okay.
behind her.
Okay. Then yeah, she should be ranked higher, but she did beat Kana, who's ranked lower. So I don't know. If you look at the resume, you should give her the title shot. And but I think a lot of the girls might not want to fight her, dude. Like, we know what she can do, and she just showed that she has some power in her strikes now. It's not like Kana has like a weak chin, you know what I mean? She's taken a lot of big punches and marks forward. She's never lost. So it's very interesting to see what kind of move that they make with Liz. But man, if they don't give her a title shot, the UFC should re-sign her, to be honest with you.
They
I think
never should have let her go, man. Like,
clearly.
clearly. So the whole thing, like this whole past year, 2020, man, Bellator's flyweight division got so fun. Like, it's more fun and exciting than UFC's, I think. And when you look at on a global scale, they have like half of the top 10. If you really think about it, man, if you look at like the best flyweights in the world, I guarantee you like Velasquez and Alima could beat plenty of people in the UFC's top 10. And, that's just 2 I mentioned. Liz obviously can, well, we just got some of the names listed out right there. So it's like the UFC really helped Bellator a little bit with some of the things that they did and didn't do. Did let go of Liz, did not sign Porto. Like, list goes on and on. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
What about this quote from Liz after the fight? Did you guys hear that? That was
Did not.
hilarious. I've just lost it. I had it on screen. 1 second. Yeah. It was pretty cold. I wanted her to make sure that when she looks back to that loss on her record, she remembers me with a hard finish. Ouch. Straight up cold. WMMA scene now. Hello, good to see you again. Even without the 2 finishes in Bellator, Coca was going to end up giving Liz a title shot based off the Rousey fight from eons ago. OG Trillmatic. I remember UFC did Liz dirty by cutting her when she was doing promo for them or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. She was out somewhere, I think.
Yep.
Doing some kind of PR bullshit. Yeah. And then she got fired while reading her phone on the way there.
Dude, crazy. That's like one of those things where you're like, all right, well, I'm fucking out of here then. Like I'm not doing this then. All right.
Not cool. But good for her. Do you want? So we were going to talk a little bit about a couple of other fights on the main card. I might just get to. There are a couple of questions here. I think Alex Box Uno asking you about the rankings, John. So don't explode. Again, just gonna rinse that joke. John, why did the Bellator rankings have Fedor at 4 when they dropped, but then he took out the rankings, and this was already a year after his last fight? Mm-hmm. So I was curious.
I don't know.
Explosion.
Exploding right now.
I don't know why this happens or why that happens. You could ask me any question about the rankings, and I don't know why this person moved down or this person moved up. I just put in my rankings, man. That's about it. That's all I know. And then if I have a question about the system we're using, I just email the guys and they give me a response. But other than that, I don't have no contact with Bellator at all. I have no contact with Bellator. I have a contact with the guys that run the system. But other than that, like, I just go in there, make my rankings, send them in, and then the next event, watch it, dissect it, make my rankings, and send them in. And then explode by myself in the shower so it doesn't get messy.
All right. Here's another one from Alex. Thoughts on Bellator Moscow on October 23 and Gegard versus John Salter August 13. Fedor will be fighting on the Bellator Moscow card. So, yeah, they had a press conference, I think, today or yesterday, was it? I can't remember. Today.
That's today.
Announcing Fedor's back. Yes. What do we make of that, guys?
Cool. Cool. Sure. I mean, Fedor, we knew that the retirement tour got halted. It was in the middle of it with the Rampage fight in Japan. Obviously, Corona business is what put a stop to that. And the Moscow one, that was expected to be his last one. I think they wanted to go somewhere in between this one and Japan. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. So I would think that this will probably be his last fight. They haven't flat out said that as of today, but yeah, it's the coolest thing about it to me is the fact that Bellator going international places, like when promotions get to go around the world and get out of their pocket, because everybody has like their home base. That's always the coolest thing for me. And what better way to do it than with Russia's GOAT, Fedor as your headliner, no matter who it's against. And yeah, Fedor hasn't looked great as of late. He beat very fat, unmotivated Rampage, but so that
Rampage
blinded
Snackson.
people.
Yeah.
Snackson, yes. It's always exciting to know that Fedor is going to fight, and in Moscow here, potentially likely for his retirement fight. Very, very cool. But also the people that will be on this card, I'm sure will be exciting. It'll be weird to see if they do try and do some title fights below it. You got Moldavsky now. You could have him fight on there. Obviously, Nemkov. I don't know if you want to do Nemkov Rumble on that one. If you want to make this card huge, then go ahead and do that. That's obviously a bit of a ways out. But I would imagine some prospects like Miss Diana Avsaragova, shameless plug, who I spoke to recently. She was surely going to be on this despite wanting to fight a little bit sooner. And also I spoke to Irina Alexieva earlier today, and she said that she's expecting and aiming to be on that card, and she'd be making her flyweight debut as well. So yeah, I think that they're going to load this up with all the Russians they got, and it should be a pretty fun time, and capped off by Fedor. How perfect is that?
JHK, you want to weigh in on that? Maybe talk about Gegard and Salter, or talk about Fedor.
I don't think that's gonna be Fedor's last fight though, unless they said it was going to be, because I know he has 2 fights left. Because the world tour was to be 3 spots, right? The first one was Japan, Saitama. I was there, so I got to see that, so it's cool. Moscow, I probably won't make it there. You know what I mean? It's kind of cold. I'm allergic to the cold. The third spot, I'm thinking like they're gonna have it in Moscow, but that's not even guaranteed, is it? Like, because I heard the UFC is trying to go to Moscow right now, right? And if the UFC isn't close to doing it, does Bellator even closer than them? I have no idea, right? Maybe they got the Fedor rub. Fedor's going over there and shaking hands and
he's
taking
friends with Putin.
Yeah, so who knows? You know what I mean? Like maybe he does have a foot in there somehow. If anybody could do it, Fedor can. You know what I mean? Like he's actually a superstar, a fighter that's like, I think in the highest levels of like any country, right? Like there's certain countries where you're like at the highest level, and Russia and Dagestan and Chechnya. Those are some spots where like the government and like the leaders are like really involved in combat sports. So maybe not. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see that happening. Who does he fight? Who knows, man? They mentioned that Coker was talking with Josh Barnett, and Josh Barnett wouldn't be that bad. You know what I mean? That's
the one I want.
Yeah, it's a little throwback. Other than that, man, I don't really see many people. If they bring in maybe, if they sign Alistair, but Alistair signed with Glory, so he looks like he's gonna be kickboxing, unless he has like some extra, secrets in his contract where he can go out and fight one-offs for promotions. Maybe that's a possibility. But other than that, I don't really see too many other fights for Fedor, unless maybe they somehow they get Brock to come back and fly over to Moscow, no drug tests, right? That would actually be something that would be huge for both guys, right? That would be massive.
Be huge for Bellator.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe, you know what I mean? Gegard Mousasi, I actually emailed Gegard Mousasi's manager like a week ago. And then I was like, can I, let's set up an interview with Gegard. And he's all like, let's wait until he announces his fight. And I was like, what? And then they announced it today. And I was just like, all right, no wonder you said that, So I guess, John Salter, he's been the number 1 contender for how many years now? Like 2 years? Yeah, for a very long time. So they're finally getting this fight put together. I'm happy for John Salter, a guy that's not like out there, talking himself into title shots. He's just out there going, fighting, and earning his spot. So give it to him. Let him fight Mousasi, and yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a challenge for Mousasi, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I see a lot of people hopping in with their little comments.
Yes, the Kana army is here to annoy JHK, even though she lost.
Are you Japanese or are you white? Like Ro Sozin Truesdale. What does that even? Is that like Truesdale? That doesn't sound Japanese, but Roy Sozin sounds Japanese. So
I don't know. OG just on Mousasi. I think Mousasi kind of needed standout performance since his buzz isn't too high after a few not so entertaining performances and choosing not to take part in the light heavyweight Grand Prix, says OG Trillmatic.
And he's champ. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. He can do whatever he wants right now. Yeah. I would have loved to see him in the light heavyweight tournament from a fighter standpoint, but not while he's champion. So I'm happy he's not in it at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't want to see him in the light heavyweight tournament because there's enough good light heavyweights to have a good tournament, and throwing the middleweight champion in there, I didn't think it would make too much sense, especially like you said, he's the champion. You want him to defend the title, not hold up the division. So
dude, it's interesting though. Have you guys noticed that I believe Mousasi, he either has like 1 or no losses at light heavyweight. Like, it's pretty crazy when you look at it. And he's got like nearly 50 fights. So I would love to see him go back someday.
He's an anomaly right there, Gegard Mousasi. He's been fighting through it like pretty much every generation, except for like the early UFC days.
Yeah.
From the early 2000s to now, it's just crazy, like the level he's been fighting at. Because he was fighting at a high level in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, right?
Right.
For like
he fought Hector Lombard in like 2004 or something.
Yeah, some craziness, right? And he was the Strikeforce champion, right? Like,
yeah,
like that. Not many guys can say that, right? I remember him fighting King Mo, and King Mo beating him. Like,
yo, John, here's your enemy.
He's my enemy. Who's my
Rain? Rain is here.
Rain is part of the Kana army.
It's a bad night for the Kana stands. # Kana army.
Yes.
Rio is, as an answer, says his dad's white. His mom is from Okinawa, Japan.
You're like my brother. My half brother. He's a mixture of the Asian descent and the Caucasian descent.
There you go. And you got 2 white boys here with you. I think.
There you go.
Just completely white.
Yeah. Very much so.
Very
like
much
like a refrigerator.
Yeah. I'm not happy with Drake and your long curly hair and the glasses. You're stealing
you guys
gimmick.
both. Yeah, you guys both have like the same look, but just look different.
That's why I put it up in this ponytail, little cap.
And if we get Spencer in here, like you 3 would be like the
dude. Shit. I didn't realize he had long hair until that last time he was on. I had no idea.
He has longer hair than both of you guys. Like his hair is long. Like Spencer, like you guys should start a boy band. Like keep the hair, keep the beards, keep the glasses. Just come through. You know what I mean? The triple threat right there.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Why not?
What about then a couple of other Bellator fights we wanted to talk about? So I scroll down.
Oh, I got a name for your group. I got a name for your group.
Okay.
Ponytails and Punani. That's the group.
Perfect.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Let's do it. Kana Army, push that. # Ponytails and Punani.
Daniel Whitehall, Yoni Diggs. Decision. I'm going to throw it to you guys. What do we think? This was not my favorite fight. I didn't like this card, to be honest, but I know you guys did a bit more than me. So Drake, go on, have a little.
I actually was. This was my food break on this one, so I didn't see this one.
Let's go to John. All right.
I was watching it out of my corner of my eye. right?
God.
I was
Did
watching it
anyone
in
watch the
my eye.
fight? 'Cause I didn't.
No, I
either.
did watch it out of the corner of my
Okay.
eye, right? And yeah, it was a Daniel Weichel fight. If you've seen Daniel Weichel fight, you know what happens, right? Like it's like it's like a really close fight, and then somehow he just edges the win, right? That's what happens in a lot of his fights, and that's what happened in this fight. Keone Diggs actually did a lot better than I expected because Daniel Weichel's been fighting for a long time. He's fought some of the best guys in the division and
Dude,
continues, right?
he's got over 50 fights too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Keone Diggs, was his 10th fight as a professional. I think a split decision loss to Daniel Weichel's something you could build off of, right? So let's get it in, right? Like I think he's one of the future guys of this featherweight division. Some might think that he might sneak under the radar for a while, but I think if you give him some time in 2022, he's going to end up being one of the top guys in that division. You just got to wait and see how he develops from this loss. But yeah, so you guys have nothing to add to that. So let's go to Sidney Outlaw and
Well,
Miles Jury.
I've got a side note I want to talk about.
Yes.
All these people not making their picks. We're gonna have to get rid of some of these.
I don't know if Bellator showed up for me this week.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have. Yeah,
They did.
Your
Don't
excuse.
make an excuse, Drake.
I haven't been on much lately.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Exactly. There you go.
They didn't though. There was a point where they didn't. So, and Ryzen doesn't show up for me either. So that was.
I don't think
upsetting.
Ryzen is up there this time.
Okay, so it's not just me
Yeah.
then.
I think I'm gonna cut everyone apart from JHK, Drake, Chris, and myself. I shouldn't
There we
cut
go.
myself.
Well, hey,
Because-
Fanatics is my boys, man. Like I'm gonna make my picks every week.
Yeah.
I make my picks even ahead of time, and sometimes I make my picks so far ahead that I forget the fights have been canceled, and I go in there and I'm like, oh, I didn't make a pick. Oh, the fight was added like the week of the event, or a couple days ahead of time, or the fighters got switched up. So that's the only reason my pick might not be in there. But yeah, some of these people we got to get rid of, dude. Like these people are not involved in these picks. And plus, you guys can go over to my group on Fanatics.
No.
But I'm not going to say the name. I don't want to promote it. You see, Nick's going to explode. He's going to
I
explode.
would mute you.
He's going to explode.
You have to go to getfanatics.app/SCMP. None of these other groups. Not Full
Yeah.
Reptile. Not
Yeah.
Fanatics. Is that what it's called?
Not a half reptile.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Shout out to Dan Hardy though, great guy.
No, I don't.
Who else is on there? MMA Twitter, some bullshit. Reddit.
Yeah.
This is the only group you want to be part of. SCMP MMA. You can see my picks, JHK's picks, Chris's picks, Drake when he can be bothered will make his picks as well. When he can see it on the app.
Typically, Nick,
it.
you know what I do is when I get on, I'll do everything that's on there, and then I'll maybe miss some, but everything that's on there while I get on, I'll do them all, and then I don't have to worry about them, so it's too late.
Well, I hope you make the picks next week, Drake.
Shout out
right
to
now.
Alvin Yakitori. Shout out
Good
to Alvin.
evening, gentlemen.
Alvin's the
How was this
best.
festive night of fights for you? It was good, Alvin. Thanks for joining us.
Man, he even texts like a gentleman. He
Yeah.
said festive is a word. That's like a exquisite language right there. Festive.
I'm
It's
feeling
like
very
fabulous.
festive.
It was a fabulous night of fights.
Anyway, Mary Chang, hello Mary, says Diggs looked good in the first but didn't make any adjustments and the vet won. And another comment from Rain. So Nick explodes when people don't fill their picks, and JHK explodes when we mention the Bellator rankings. When does Drake explode? Yeah, we need to figure that out.
When any woman loses a fight, she's just
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, go make your picks. The link is there in the scrolling ticker thing. Download Fanatics, Fancy MMA, getfanatics.app/SCMP MMA. Actually, no, just SCMP. It's all there and it's in the description. Help us out. Anyway, we're going to go to Sidney Outlaw, the gun against Miles Fury Jury. Winner Sidney Outlaw, third round submission. Good showing for Sidney Outlaw, huh, guys?
Very much so. Very dominant. great backpack work, and it led to the submission, right? So yeah, I very kind of surprising because jury, I obviously all you guys picked him. He's been around the block, fought some of the
Those of
best,
us who were bothered to make picks all went
right?
for Miles Jury.
Right. And I would have too. But yes, Sidney Outlaw though, it's like he's not a bad fighter whatsoever. It's just that we have seen Jury against much better competition. I think for the most part, he's tough was it 15, 16? Like one of the older toughs, and we're at 29 now. So yeah, Jury's been around. He looked solid in Bellator prior to this fight. But yeah, very, very big showing for Outlaw and a great name to have on his resume.
That's why I picked Miles Jury myself too. Exactly what Drake was saying. Like the dude has fought just much more higher level competition and has been having success against some of those high level guys. I thought he was going to go in there, be able to stay on the feet, right? But man, Outlaw just took him down, grabbed a leg, took him down, rode his back for the whole fight. It was pretty much dominant as you can get, right? Jury just couldn't get out of that position. And every time he would just get into the same position over and over again. Even when the round ended and they started back on the feet, he just ended up on his back. And then he got the submission. Great fight for Sidney Outlaw. Sidney, I think he was ranked number 6 and Miles Jury was number 4. So beating somebody higher up in the rankings, great for him. He should be able to move up, and I'm going to explode on these rankings in a bit.
A question from Chris here. I'll go back to how high is Sidney Outlaw's ceiling? John, you want to take that, or Drake? Either of you, please.
I mean, you look at the lightweight division. I think that he's a guy who obviously his last loss was to Michael Chandler, which no shame in that one. But you look at the fact that he did lose to Michael Chandler and what he got knocked out. I don't remember much wrestling in that one, right? It was pretty quick. You were there for that one, right, John? That was in Japan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Chandler, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you look at who's the champion right now, Pitbull, and then even brother Pitbull's in there too. Like those are very interesting matchups, but I'm not confident yet that Sidney can beat Patricio for sure. Maybe Patricky, but Patricio's just so good, man. But I think he could get to those fights for sure.
Oh, he will. I think he's going to get to those fights, and it's just that maybe has he developed into the best fighter, the best version of himself? Because he does train with like the highest level of guys, right? He's at American Top Team. He's one of Jorge Masvidal's guys, right? Jorge brings him in and trains with him, and he's involved in a lot of camps out there. So yeah, he's gonna get better. It's just that can he get better on the feet? That's the question, because we know he can wrestle. We know he's good on the ground. It's just like you got to be able to stand and trade and be much more technical on the feet if you want to go in there and beat someone like Pitbull. If you want to beat Pitbull, you got to be able to, have great head movement, be able to duck out of power shots. And then at the same time, if you get hit, you got to be able to recover and not get caught in a submission. That's what Pitbull does it beautifully, man. If he doesn't knock you out, he's going to rock you or get you in a scramble and just take your neck or something. You know what I mean? And that's why it's great to see Pitbull fight. But with Outlaw, he's going to get there. It's just that we don't know. There's a lot of questions on like, how does he handle that? Maybe he should fight Peter Queeley next. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe I think that could be the fight, to test him. And either guy wins, they get a shot at the belt.
Okay. Connor might have lost, says Jimmy Kudo, but I still stand for Connor. WMMA scene now responds, Connor Army dead. Jump on Sayori Oshima warship before everyone finds out.
I do agree with that. I definitely do that.
Chris has got his girlfriend to ask the same question, which we just answered. I wasn't ignoring you, Chris. I was just waiting till we talked about Sidney Outlaw. Makoto.
That is just
Kyugoku.
Weird.
It is, yeah. But hello, Sophie. How you doing? What's next for Kana Watanabe? Asks Makoto Kyugoku. Drake.
So, I mean, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, Makoto. I'm assuming before you showed up. But if we're going to look at opponents specifically, I think I would probably match her with maybe you could go Kate Jackson, who is coming off of that loss against Denise in her last fight. You could do Vita Ortega, who just beat Desiree Yanez. It's somebody around that. What they're like, kind of 5 to 7, 8-ish range right now. But we know who's around 8, so maybe we won't do that. But I think that maybe one of those names I just threw out will probably be what we get from Kana. But you really have no idea what you're going to get in the Bellator flyweight matchmaking, as we have seen. Makoto, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Do you guys think Kana can make a comeback? Says Rio, Sozen, Trustel, John.
Of course, she can make a comeback. Everybody can make a comeback, right? There's no is that a loaded question? I don't know, but
I don't know.
What I think Kana, she has 2 options, and I think this is for real. This is the 2 options that she has next. I think either she fights Valerie Laredo, or she fights Kate Jackson. I think those are the fights.
You really think they would do the Laredo fight?
Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't they do it? Because if we
for Laredo,
it'll be good for Laredo. You know why? Because we've seen that Kana has deficiencies in the stand-up, right? We've seen it, and Laredo has good stand-up, decent stand-up, right? Compared to a lot of girls. And why not? Why not test Laredo and then see, give Kana a chance to bounce back, right? I think it's a good matchup. Or Kate Jackson. Kate Jackson's a challenge. She's fought for the title already, right? Yeah. But she's coming off a loss, I believe, right? So
yeah,
why not? Both. I think you should give her someone that's like down in the rankings, but coming off a loss. So you get loser versus loser, and then whoever wins kind of moves up in the rankings or whatever. I don't think you should give her anybody like Denise Kleholtz, you know what I mean, or even what is it? She beat Lara, right? So
yeah,
even Ortega, that's that would kind of be a hard fight too. But maybe that's also a possibility if I really look at it in detail. But yeah, she has options, man, because she shot up so quick to where it's like, okay, she has a stumbling block now. Let's move back a couple rungs and get back up in there. So Kana Army, you have nothing to worry about.
Makoto says F Valerie Laredo. Jimmy Kudo says I'd like to see Kana destroy Valerie.
I'll tell you guys, that's pretty much how the entire this Kana meme, Kana Army thing started, was based off of the Valerie Laredo push. So there's a little insight for you guys. So they do not like her.
Ryo also asking the Kana Army.
Kana Army doesn't like Laredo?
No, not at all.
Well, that's what Laredo wants you to do. She wants you to hate her, right? That's what she's trolling so many people, right, with her accounts and stuff. I just see it. Like, she understands that that's going to bring her fame, the hate. So she's just doing it. And on the flip side, her being who she is and how she acts brings her fame too. So she's riding both waves at the same time, and Kana Army's falling for it. You guys are getting trolled. You guys are what is wrong with you? Don't do that. Just ride with Kana. And hopefully they fight each other. I think that would be a great fight, right? A lot of people is gonna hate the matchup, and they'll be like, "Oh, I hope Laredo dies." And then Laredo's like, she's gonna do her booty dance, and she's gonna twerk and make her videos, and you're gonna hate it. So let's promote it. Come on, Kana Army, push that. Push the Kana versus Laredo fight. I would like to see it.
Yeah. And what can she improve on besides striking, defense? Asked Jimmy Kudo. Drake.
I mean, that's the main thing, right? And then I think that the offense
it's a huge thing right there, right?
Yes.
It's like a high percentage of your arsenal that you have to be able to utilize in a fight, right? To where it's like, I don't think we should really worry about anything else. I think we should worry about your head movement and not have your chin all up high when you throw strikes, because it's almost like she's throwing like this. Like when she punches, she like jerks back her neck, like her chin up high. And she needs to fix that. Maybe she should just do 3 months of just like with her hands tied behind her back and someone like getting one of those gloves at the end of a broomstick and then just pumping it at her face and see if she could like dodge that for 3 months. She needs to work on that. But back to you, Drake. I'm just
No, you're 100% right, and that's kind of, I mean, as much of a bummer as this fight was, as somebody who really likes Kana, just from a person and fighter standpoint, the disappointing thing about this fight was the fact that we didn't get to see her tested potentially off her back, because in her whole career yet we haven't seen her. She's always been in control on the ground, and that's because that's how good she is of a judoka and a grappler. But sometimes in certain situations, the fact that they never go to those areas where they're defending in the grappling, like on their back, they're not so great there because they never have to be good there. Like, best example, Sarah McMahon, fantastic on top. We've seen multiple times that when she's on her back, she's kind of stuck a little bit. You look at the Misha Tate fight, even the Ketlin Vieira, Marion Renault one. There's been multiple now, which is very unfortunate because she's an amazing wrestler, but we haven't seen that from Kana yet. So that could be a secret weakness, but it might not even matter because she will maybe never be there. But obviously, it doesn't matter. You got to work on the striking defense. I think John said it perfectly.
Kana would smash Loretta on the ground, says Makoto.
Undeniably.
Not a lot of love for Valerie here. WMMA scene now. Loretta getting a fighter with a losing record next. I'm putting $1 on it.
Yeah, that's a safe bet as well.
Safe bet, yeah. And Ryo doesn't watch any of Loretta's fights.
See, that's a dedicated hater. Is not giving her what the views.
He's the winner of the haters ball.
Rain watches Bellator through non-legal streams. 1, because commentary sucks. 2, so Valerie never gets ratings. Wow. And back to Chris. Sophie says Chris is cooking a full English. I just like seeing John explode. And
I only explode in the bathroom. I told you guys earlier. So it's
another one. Since we're talking about JHK, did we do this question already? Where does she fall in the rankings now?
I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, since she fought somebody higher in the rankings, I don't really think she even falls in the rankings, to be honest with you. Like, when you fight somebody higher in the rankings and you lose, and then nobody like in your vicinity wins, it's hard to justify any movement except for Carmouche. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, she maybe could drop down 1, maybe, I'm not for sure, but
well, Laura's like right behind her, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like Laura, she beat Laura.
Yeah.
So it's hard to move Laura up. Has she won a fight since that one? No, she's lost, right? So it's hard to say that she drops in the rankings with this fight. You know what I mean? Sometimes no movement is good movement. USA
USA says, great job, guys. Love the channel. Thank you, USA.
The entire nation.
The entire nation is watching. Yes.
Exactly, man. And who said China and the USA has beef?
Exactly.
There's no beef here. The South China Morning Post. You know what? We get so many comments from idiots are like, you guys are from China? You guys are from China? Why are you working for China?
They're like commie bastards or something.
Yeah, there's those, but I'm saying that's something that's just someone hating. But the funniest ones are like, you guys are from China?
Dude, every time.
Are you Chinese?
every time that I've gone to an event, these past ones that I've been doing, whenever I tell somebody who I don't know or doesn't know me or whatever that I'm covering for South China Morning Post, they think I'm from China. I'm like, no. Or like Uber drivers and shit who just don't know.
Drake's like that guy. There was this guy from Australia who was like obsessed with K-pop. So what he did was he moved to South Korea and got all the surgery to look like a K-pop star.
I remember
Drake is the opposite of that.
Right? And then I actually did go to China, but
exactly.
Jimmy Kudo says the whole point of the Kana army is to drown out Valerie hype. Yes. Mary says JHK would smash Loretta on the ground too. Yeah,
I'm gonna say that's definitely the truth.
Oh my god, this is devolving.
He's got the perfect hat for that
Valerie
comment.
Yes. Uncle Sam says, I want you to watch SCMP MMA. That's right.
we go.
WMA scene now.
That'd be a good T-shirt, Nick. That'd
Yes.
be a good T-shirt.
I'm making the merch still. Don't worry.
Yeah, but
It's-
Uncle Sam's face is my face.
Yes, exactly.
Get that guy who made your logo. Who was it? Or your you sent me his name. I forgot on Twitter. He did your
Dave.
recent artwork.
Dave, he
Yeah,
does
he's
great work.
phenomenal.
He does a lot of work. I think he does like Anik and Florian podcast, and he's
He
good.
did the schmoes. He's done mine. He did, Broad Horizons logo. He's done plenty of my stuff too.
Well, maybe I'll be sending him a DM. Get John's face on a t-shirt with Uncle Sam. All right. Yes, this has devolved into. Let's talk about PFL. Right, we've
Yeah,
finished
we're done.
kind of
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, PFL time. PFL 6. The playoffs are now upon us. This was the last regular season event, I think. I hope I got that right. So, yeah. Okay, where do we want to start, guys? I mean, I'm going to bring it on screen. Fanatics again, back here. I mean, Kayla, we can talk about Kayla in a bit, but I think the most noteworthy thing here is Anthony Showtime Pettis losing again. So he's lost 2 out of 2 in the regular season in PFL. Rausch Manfio beat him by split decision. So Pettis does not go to the playoffs. He needed a finish tonight, didn't even get the win. John, a lot of people saying Pettis is washed, all that. Can you say he's just had a bad year? What do we put this down to? Is it the case of people not realizing there's incredible talent outside of UFC, or what's going on here?
Damn, that's a loaded question, isn't it?
Sorry, yeah, there's a lot.
Pettis being washed. I don't think he's washed. I just think even this fight, I thought he won the first 2 rounds. I don't know, maybe I'm watching the wrong thing, but I thought he won the first 2 rounds. and another thing
Stay
that
with us here.
What is this?
I know Rio says they're leaving because we're not talking about Kana, but yeah, we
Get
still
the
got good
fuck out.
content.
Get the fuck out of here. Who gives a shit? We're not going to talk about Kana for 3 hours. There's
We
not
could.
enough. There's not enough to talk about with her. You know what I mean? But I'll talk about 3 hours of how her striking is just wrong, just wrong.
Don't
Like I said,
anger the army.
Well, you know, the Japanese media hates me too, right? So it's all good.
Oh yeah, you're not big in Japan. That's
Yeah, I'm
for
not
sure.
big in Japan, right? I'm big with haters, so you know it is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyways, with Pettis, I thought this fight he won the first 2 rounds. I thought he did a great job of counter striking and landing more. If you look at the statistics, you know there's so many statistics that PFL throws out there. It just confuses you half the time. But and what's up with the ghost cam? Like, what the hell is that? Like, there's a ghost in the cage and it's filming stuff. I don't know what is the ghost cam. Like, I have no idea,
Ghost
but
cam.
they just have a ghost cam in there, and then they have the
Okay.
referee cam and all that. But anyways, aside from that, this fight, Pettis, I thought he won the first 2 rounds, and also I thought that they should have took a point away from Rausch because he hit Pettis in the nuts twice, dude. And the first one was bad, dude. If you watch it in slow motion, he dug the toes in his nuts. I swear to God. Like, you heard Pettis, you know what I mean? Pettis is like, he doesn't really react like that to things, but man, he looked like he was really hurt. And then the second one was very similar, maybe a little bit higher than the first one, but still, when are referees stop going to give warnings for everything and start actually taking points away? Because they're already giving warnings backstage. Like, don't do this, don't do that, right? And I can understand a groin shot, a warning for the first one, but once you get to the second and thirds, you got to take a point away, man. And if you did take a point away, Pettis would have been up 3 rounds, basically, heading into the 3rd round. So even if he would have won the 3rd round, Pettis would have won the fight. And even if the 3rd round was a 10-8, and you could argue it was a 10-8 because he almost finished Pettis in that 3rd round, and then it would have been a Pettis' fight anyways because he would have had the point deduction. So I don't understand like how he won the fight. Maybe I'm wrong, but what did you guys see? I didn't. Drake, what did you see? Did you see, Rausch winning this?
No, I was mainly focused on the Bellator main event during this one, so I could not tell you who rightfully won, but it seemed like most people thought Pettis won. But to answer Nick's initial question, I think it's a combination of both, right? I think that there is plenty of fantastic talent outside of the UFC, but at the same time, I never really like to say anybody's washed unless it's like very, very clear. And so I don't know if I'd say that with
Diego
Pettis,
Sanchez.
well, there's one. Maybe Junior. There's some names out there who we didn't mention for the Fedor sweepstakes. He's in there as well. But Pettis, I do not think has been at that same level that he once was for pretty much since he was champion. And that's not something crazy to say. People thought he kind of was coming back after the Cerrone and Morono wins, because that was his first winning streak since being champion. That is still his only winning streak since being champion. Yes, the Chiesa fight and the Thompson one's in there, which kind of fluky, to be honest, in terms of look at what those guys have done since then and what Pettis has done since then. Like, just no consistency with the guys. So I think that people know how to beat him now. He can still catch you with some crazy shit, obviously, but I never expected him to win this tournament. And what do you know? He didn't even win a single fight, and it's not just a him thing, but Hausch and Clay Collard, very good fighters as well. So yeah, I think it's a combination to answer Nick.
Well, Ghost Phantom 98 says Pettis is still solid. I thought he won the fight unless 3 was a 10-8. Yeah, it took a lot of damage in the third. Yeah, well, did he make the right decision, guys, to go to PFL when there was offers from Bellator 1, I think, were interested?
So, this is, I wanted to say this right off the top here about PFL real quick, surrounding this event in particular, heavyweights and lightweights. It just kind of blows my mind to think about, and here's some negativity from me, right? But it blows my mind to think about the fact that such lower level fighters in these divisions in particular are getting this opportunity for $1 million over a whole lot of others who deserve it. Blows me away, and great for them. So in that situation, I think, like, how do you not want to be in the PFL if you're like starting up? Try and just get there as quickly as you can, especially if you're a female fighter from 125 and beyond, because as we know, Mariana Rice was used to fight there, and Taylor Gardado, a former bantamweight. Just a little thing there, but so
okay,
yeah,
just crazy. No, the thing is, with that word deserve, right? Like, I think a lot of guys deserve to be there. Even like Hausch deserves to be there. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys like Alexander Martinez. Does he deserve to be there? A lot of times it's questionable, right? But you know what's important here is that a lot of these guys have managers that help them to get into PFL. I don't see many guys getting into PFL just like getting a random phone call. I feel like a lot of this is like relationship building and being able to, build a good record, and then be able to have somebody represent you well enough to where they're going to put you in this. Cause it's an opportunity of a lifetime for somebody that is like, like Hausch, you know what I mean? Like, really, before this, who knew who he was? Not many people, right? Especially in North America and probably worldwide. So him going in there and defeating Anthony Pettis, it does so much for his stock. And also at the same time, he's in the playoffs, I believe, right? He's ranked. Oh, he's tied for first, or he's third in the rankings. So it's like Loic is first, second is Clay Collard, then Hausch third, and then Alexander Martinez fourth. Who expected these 4 fighters to be in the finals of the playoffs at lightweight? I don't think many people expected that, and that's what's crazy about the tournament and the season format, especially this season, because everything's like expedited. It's like sped up, right, to where they need to get done faster than in previous seasons. So yeah, it's like Pettis, he made, why I say that he made the best decision is because, of course, he can go and fight for $1 million, and at the same time, once the season's over, now he could go box, and he's gonna go box, and the UFC wouldn't let him do that. You know what I mean? Bellator wouldn't let him do that. One Championship wouldn't let him do that because they wanted him to continue fighting, right? Because there's no season. But with PFL, you have the season. Once it's over, it's not the end of the road. Pettis has a big enough name where he could cross over to boxing and box somebody that's actually a legit boxer and get paid good. And then once that stuff is over with, he comes back for next season because the PFL will bring him back because he's star power. And they could also at the same time build guys off Pettis. And Pettis is not washed. I mean, he looks pretty good still in this fight. He looked good. So I think Pettis is going to continue going and he's going to box. He's going to box in the next 3 months. I guarantee you. First round management, man. Those guys are getting big into boxing right now.
The funny thing about Pettis boxing to me is like that takes away one of his best skill sets, which is his kicks. Like, it's like go for it, man. But yeah,
but if you watch his like Instagram and some of his social media, he's been working on his boxing a lot lately. A lot. He's been like flying down to Puerto Rico, I believe, and he's been going to Mexico too to box, like just train with pure box trainers. So I just look at that and just make my assumptions, right? I think Pettis will be boxing soon.
Well, important to note, we all picked it wrong.
Yeah.
Drake did not pick, of course, but myself, JHK, and Chris all went for Pettis. Not a good night for us with our picks. Please remember to smash a like on this video as well and subscribe if you hadn't already. And I don't know what Chris is. Chris sounds like he's drunk here. Petit, did we round in both of T? Get out of here. No, he just mistyped it. Pettis did win rounds in both of his fights. I think that's true. Mr. Yonko, what's your opinion of PFL's fight metrics? Asks Alvin the Gentleman.
Well, Mr. Gentleman, I don't know. I just look at it as stats. You know what I mean? Like that's
it's
what
kind
it
of
is.
cool eye candy, isn't it? While you're watching,
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool to have, something different, and that's what PFL is trying to do. They're trying to do something different. And I'm all for it, man. If you would try to do something different, it doesn't like take away from anything. It's just something added to the experience. So they're trying to add things to the experience. I wouldn't be surprised if PFL is going to be the first promotion to do VR. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, especially with all this technology they're using around the cage. Like eventually, if you could get like your phone and get one of those VR sets, like with the goggles or whatever, and then you could be cage side watching the fights. Shit, I wouldn't mind.
Or ref cam.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, you could be.
Be the
but
ref.
the thing is, like, you can't control the ref cam.
Oh,
But
yeah,
if you get a VR set, you could just be cage side, and you could just move your head to the side, and you could watch the fights. Which that would be crazy.
The
I would love to
future.
see that. Yeah, it is the future.
Yeah, go pitch that to Lauren, maybe.
Yeah, I'll text
Or
Lauren.
what's the other guy's name?
Donnie
Peter.
Don.
Peter.
Don Davis.
Yeah. Donnie Davis. The Don Dada.
Donnie D. Double D. Don. The Don.
I don't think he likes that name.
Okay. Yeah. That would be amazing, says the like old Scott decision. Hope I pronounced that right. Eye candy is something that looks nice, not something you have to solve, says Ghost Phantom 98. Yeah, PFL, just as a side note, I love all their presentation. I enjoy watching PFL more than Bellator in terms of that presentation style. I find it more engaging. What do you think? Let us know in the comments if you enjoy the technology element that the PFL has, or do you think it matters anyway? Why don't we talk about, we can get to Kayla at the end. I think we all knew she was going to roll through Miss Dandois. But,
did we, Nick? I saw something there.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to change that.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, if you remember the preview, I did it because I was taking the piss because the odds were ridiculous. They were like minus 7,000 or something for Kayla. So I did it for a joke. But you know me, I like to have fun. I'm not straight-laced like you guys with your picks. If you even make them, that's right. Well, we'll get to that then. But I wanted to talk about this one. Because, yes, Lance the Party Palmer, Drake's favorite fighter, he told me on text. What a bad day for Drake. Not only does Conor lose, Lance Palmer loses and is not going to the playoffs. The two-time champ is out for Killer Movlid.
That's
big,
crazy, right? Like a two-time champ. He's won every season of the PFL. And then this one, he doesn't even make it to the playoffs. He loses both fights, convincingly loses both fights, right? And what do the thing about Lance Palmer and the thing that a lot of people criticize him about is not really his abilities. It's just he's not a finisher, right? And in this situation, he had to go in there and finish the fight, man. And he's not known for that stuff, right? So if he doesn't take it to the ground, it's going to be the percentage is very low that he finishes the fight, right? It's not like he has knockouts. And I think most of his finishes are just submissions. So I thought Lance was going to come in here with the mindset of like, it's do or die. You know what I mean? I cannot just get bounced out from being the champion, but it just shows you the featherweight like bracket. It's just so, I don't want to say it's stacked, but it's so competitive now to the point where the previous champion is not even in the playoffs, right? Like they're just showing you like, hey, it's not going to be the 2019. It's not going to be 2018. This is 2021. This is a whole nother league. And almost every division is like that now, right? Like almost every division. Some of the divisions, not so much, but like featherweight, lightweight, they're doing a good job, man. And I picked, if you look at the screen, I picked Lance Palmer to win. I thought he was going to be able to get it done, but what is it? Mavlid? Is that his name? Mavlid?
That is correct.
I'm gonna give him a nickname, the Molotov cocktail, right? Anyways, that's his nickname, right? Would that fit? Like the M and the K? Mavlid, the Molotov cocktail. What is it? Kabulalevov. Man, I'm so bad at names, right? I can barely remember my own name. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got to say about this. You know what I mean? Lance Palmer is really your favorite fighter, Drake?
No.
Yes.
No, he's
Devastation for Drake. He was telling me on WhatsApp. It was so sad.
Yeah. I will tell you though, I do think that Lance Palmer has definitely been one of the best featherweights in the world for the past, since the World Series days when he was champion, because that's how long this guy's been the best featherweight in this promotion. I mean, these, if you want to say two promotions, since the change and all that. And surprisingly, he was the underdog going into this one. And I think it's just kind of been a matter of, like you said, John, his lack of finishing ability mixed with, people maybe figuring him out a little bit now, or maybe the game catching up to him. And that's obviously showed with guys like what Bubba Jenkins was his other fight that he lost, and then this one. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy to see kind of this entire change of the guard in the PFL specifically this season. Like Schulte isn't even in the lightweight one. We didn't mention him, but I didn't make it there. So yeah, just crazy.
Slightly strange as well that he knew going into the third round he could no longer get to the playoffs. I think that was the situation.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of killed the whole vibe of the fight a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed to finish within the first two rounds. It was like the Kayla Harrison fight. She needed to finish at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Then she's automatically like positioned at number one. I was like, that really like took me for a ride. Like, you guys got the exact time where she has to finish the fight to where she's like positioned at number one. That's insane, right? That's some mathematics for you. They got some scientists working there. Where did they get? Somebody from MIT?
Invicta does that too.
Oh, do they? Okay, I didn't know that.
They got double D, man. Double D,
yeah. Double D.
But they got the calculator out.
Big Donnie.
Big Donnie. Jim in the comments
does
says,
Dallas.
Bellator has the worst presentation of any major promotion.
What are you talking about? There's Showtime.
I thought that said penetration at first.
dirty man.
It's
where we've been tonight.
It's getting off the rails, man. It's getting off the rails.
Yeah.
But Bellator, I thought Bellator's is clean. I like it. I like Bellator's is clean. It's basic, and they have a good little system that they have in the casino over there, right? At the Mohegan Sun. Yeah, and there's Showtime, man. Showtime, they're not going to be going too far off the edge, right? They want to keep it streamlined, clean,
professional.
And professional. And a lot of people don't like it. In my opinion, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? Like, some promotions can learn from that, but then some promotions, they don't want to spend all that money, because if you talk to Ryzen, if you know anything about what they do and how much money that they spend for presentation, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of effort just for that part, just for that intro part. It's a lot of effort. So maybe these promotions, they don't want to invest in it, but it's good. Why? Because that's what makes Ryzen.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the fights; it's their presentation too.
Bellator sucks at promoting fights, says
I
Synchro
mean,
Wing.
they did an awful job for this card, and
Yeah.
it was understandable if you look at in terms of the main event compared to what we've got so far since the Showtime era. But there was just like no promoting whatsoever this event. It was non-existent.
Yeah.
Synchro Wing also says Bellator has the worst commentary booth.
Like
I have
that,
to watch
yeah.
the UK version since they talk about the fight instead of random nonsense. The like Scott
Yeah.
just was
Yeah. The
Go ahead.
Bellator, not the best. Like PFL has like far exceeded anything Bellator has put together throughout the years. I love Maul Ronaldo, if I'm saying his name right. I love him on the broadcast. I think they should have him for every event, right? John, what is it? Big John McCarthy?
Yeah.
He's great to have, but I don't think he should be like the guy that's just the
Color
only
guy.
guy on color, right? They need to bring in. We know nowadays that we need to have a fighter that can articulate everything properly to be in the booth. Why? Because they're the fighter, right? John is great because he knows all the rules. Like he can tell you everything, like every position, what the referee did wrong, what the judges might be doing wrong, like that. That's great. But they do need somebody that has personality, a fighter to come in. And I don't understand why they don't hire Frank Mir. Why don't you hire Frank Mir and put him as the third guy in the booth, right? You got Maul Ronaldo, Big John McCarthy, and Frank Mir. Man, Frank Mir is good. Like really, really good. Like to me, he's like levels above a lot of the guys even the UFC has. But he just doesn't have the opportunity to do it. That's all it is. So
some of his WEC commentary was just so fun to listen to. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah, that's where I first saw him, right? He was still competing and he was doing commentary for WEC, and he commentated some of the best fights in WEC too.
mm-hmm.
So I would recommend go back and watch some of those fights and listen to Frank Mir's commentary.
Zombie Garcia won. There you go.
Phenomenal, right? Phenomenal.
Jim in the comments says one PFL Rising are all more fun to watch for me, even with the bad Rising commentary.
I have never disliked the Rising commentary, aside from when Frank just recently had the the audio mic issues and all that kind of thing.
Terrible. That was terrible.
But other than that,
I'm not a fan of the last team that they had. I'm not a fan of that. Like there's
Beat Down
no
Brown?
like there's no like I don't know. There's no like excitement from the commentators. It's just like they're just commentating, right? There's no like there's got to be at least one guy.
Well, they're
that's
not
like,
there, which I don't think helps, right?
Yeah, that's also true too. Yeah, but it almost seems like it's like delayed too, like the reactions. And
Yes,
stuff
I've
like
noticed that as well.
Yeah, so I guess it's hard to nitpick because they are local or they are remote, and one's in Australia and the other one's in Canada, so it's hard to line everything up. Whatever. I don't want to complain too much about that.
Big John talks about random nonsense, says Synchro Wing. Look at Pitbull versus Chandler. They talk about everything except the fight. I like PFL's trio. Did we Randy, is it Chris O'Connell and Sean O'Connell? Sorry. Have I got it right?
Yeah.
I've missed that. Yeah,
No, Sean,
and
Sean.
Sean, yeah. And then Kenny Florian. I
Flo.
love that trio. I think they're great. And O'Connell's done a really good job transitioning to the play-by-play stuff, hasn't he?
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
You would never know that he was a fighter, just like the voice he has,
Yeah.
He's
Even
like
just
and
looking
he's
at
not
him,
even, and he's not even doing the color, right? Like color, we're
Right.
like, this guy's doing color. That's good. No, he's doing the play-by-play,
Yeah,
dude. Like
the fighter as the play-by-play. It's crazy.
that is insane, man. I don't understand how they even knew that he was able to do that. Like, how did you even know that? Like, he would just fit in so perfect. He's like Ace Ventura, and when he reversed and spun into the parking lot, and he's like a glove, like he's like that.
Drake, do you remember Joe Warren during Crow Cop's run us, Jim?
Yes, I do. Joe Warren back in the day, what was his nickname, the world's most dangerous man, back when he was very good, taking on Baby Fernandez and all those guys. Good times.
Well, let's do our final. Let's talk Kayla quickly. get through Kayla. There you go. What was it? First round. This was a real rollover. First round submission. Kayla Harrison beat Cindy Dandois. I did predict it there just as a joke. I'll remind you. I knew Kayla Harrison was going to win. Guys, yeah.
Oh, you did?
What is this?
You saw the
I
fight
did.
for us?
I saw the fight.
Oh, he was in the future over there. What kind of
did.
limitless candy are you taking over there? A little medical
No,
substance.
what I'm trying to say is the level of competition for Kayla is not really there, is it here?
Nope.
It
You
is
know,
not.
Kayla. Okay, like Kayla, she went in there. She did exactly what she was supposed to do, right? And Cindy, you know, she took on the challenge, and you know, props to her, you know, going against the odds. But you know, she's a fighter. Fighters fight, like they say. And she went in there. She took her chances and didn't look like she was in the fight at all, not even for 1 second. That's not, to me, that wasn't even that impressive, right? What was impressive was Larissa Pachenko. That was impressive, dude. That was like a straight up beat down. And then what's crazy about it is Helena, she went in there, she's like, I'm gonna brawl with this power, like this striker, right? I'm gonna brawl with her. And you know, Helena, she's a boxer, right? She's a Muay Thai champion in her country or whatever. But man, Larissa, the beautiful like counter combo that just sparked Helena, man, I thought that was the most impressive finish out of the women, because there was a few finishes in the women's, you know, matchups, right? Janae Fabian, she got a great finish, right? She snuck in that head kick, and then after that left hand, you know, just collapsed Payic, or I think it's Payhich. I forgot, whatever.
They were saying Payich, but yeah.
All right, Payich, right? So Janae Fabian had a great fight. You know, I mean, there was you know, the Caitlin Young, man. You know, I like her, you know, and she's great, and she's been around the sport for longer than anybody. Yeah, but it's just like, you know, how, I don't know. She just didn't look good tonight, right? She just didn't look good.
She looked a little off, more so as the fight went on. And I think there is an argument, you know, that she could have won those first 2 rounds. Definitely didn't win the third round, but second round is, you know, what it came down to. I think she had Mariana hurt in the first round at the end of that. But yeah, just a little off, especially with her, you know, not able to defend those head and arms when they did happen, and, you know, didn't lead anywhere crazy. But yeah, a bummer, just because it would have been such a cool story if Caitlin Young could have pulled this off. You know, like,
and the thing about it is, I interviewed Caitlin Young, right, for
Yeah.
SCMP MMA. Make sure to go to that channel while you're on it right now. Hit that subscribe and the like, and even go watch the Caitlin Young interview, man.
Yeah.
She's always good. She's always a good
go
chat.
watch mine too.
Yeah, watch his too, right? But Caitlin, like, when she said, she's like, okay, I asked her, like, you know, you're tied for third, or you're tied for the fourth spot, right, with Janae Fabian. You know, like, do you have a sense of urgency? She's like, yeah, I do have a sense of urgency, but it didn't seem like it in the fight. You know what I mean? Janae, she went out there and just wrecked her opponent, right?
Yulia had nothing whatsoever, and I mean, we expected that.
And another thing about Yulia is that, man, she probably needs to go out and fight somewhere else, a few, like 5 more fights, and then return, right? It's just like the level of competition. Her first fight was against Pacheco, got just completely smashed in that one, right? It was like a world star hip hop, you know, like someone in the back is like, world star. That's what it was. You know what I mean? Like that fight. It was just bad.
That's the thing, though, right, about this made up lightweight division in particular, though, John, is like, these were all solid performances by the winners for the most part. But like, how impressive are they considering who they're going against, right? Like, I don't know. You look at as well, Cindy versus Kayla. Like, think about this, you guys. Cindy Dandois, we just saw that fight. She was, you know, the best, at least most experienced and legit fighter that Kayla has ever fought so far, arguably along with Pacheco, who she's beaten twice. Both decisions, couldn't finish Pacheco, but it's far and away Pacheco and Cindy are Kayla's toughest opponents in 10 fights now. And, you know, 2 of those fights were Pacheco. So it's like, it's just hard to be really excited about this tournament in particular for me, because it's just, we know what the end result's going to be, and I don't know, it's frustrating, but good for the PFL giving out these opportunities, right? That's the big thing. And it circles back to what I said earlier about, hey, go try and make $1 million.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
I'm interested in this lightweight tournament, to be honest with you. You know why? Is because Janae Fabian, she looks much more improved, but at the same time, she's not fighting like the highest level of competition. But she does look improved, right? She does look better than she did before. Pachenko looks better too, right? And then Kayla, she looks better, but they're all fighting. Like, it's almost like PFL, they knew, like, okay, these are the girls we need to have in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And even like Caitlin Young, I really feel that they wanted her to be there just because of her name and she's a pioneer and they could build off that. But she just
super
didn't win the fight.
disrespectful to have her in the second fight of the night, though. That was surprising to me, man. Like, dude, she just beat the person who's taking on Kayla in the main event, and you put her in the second fight of the night. Like, that was mind blowing to me as well.
Yeah, so like I'm interested to see who lines up. Right now, I believe that the what is it? Let me see the brackets real fast. Okay, so Larissa Pachenko, she's in the number 1 spot, tied with Kayla Harrison. And then you got Janae Fabian 3rd, and then Taylor 4th, right? Taylor sneaks in there with back-to-back wins. So like most likely Taylor's gonna take on Pachenko, and then you got Harrison versus Fabian, right?
That's what they said. They said that already.
So man, we might end up seeing the Pachenko
Trilogy.
Harrison trilogy. And you know what though? I think that if they do fight again, I'm gonna go out there on a limb and say like Pachenko has a really decent chance at beating Harrison this time around.
She had some moments in those first 2 fights, and again survived both of them. So that's 6 rounds of experience.
Yeah. It's that whole Dominic Cruz situation, right? If you fight them enough, you'll end up you'll figure out a way to beat them eventually, right? Dominic Cruz, a la, and Team Alpha Male, right?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, that's his real favorite fighter.
Yes,
I know that. I just wanted to sneak that. I just wanted to sneak that in there. It's Lance the Party Palma and Dominic, the denominator.
What? Neither are British.
I know. But the only time I get to use a British accent is out here. So
right,
whenever Nick's out here or Leon or because most of the people are from the UK, so it's like I hear it all the time in my ears. So it's like I cannot hold myself from doing it, even though it's terrible. And Nick gets angry.
Well,
Nick's gonna explode, right? He's gonna explode.
Martin's asking if you exploded today, or maybe it's a request. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It could be a request, right?
Yeah.
It should explode today. But maybe I might have to bring in the hoe so the hoe can explode.
Oh god. Why don't we wrap it up with this question from Alvin, the gentleman. I was very impressed by Miss Fabian. He says, how far do you gentlemen think Miss Fabian can go?
Well, she's taking on Kayla next, so it's the end of the road.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is John, you were touching on how good she looked, and I mean, we all were, but it was against an opponent who had no business kind of being there. But the thing is, Fabian should definitely, at least on paper, she does have the striking edge, with her background over Kayla. But it's just once Kayla gets a hold of her, if she can avoid that, she could win. She definitely could. But for 15 minutes, I don't know. I don't know about that.
What if Kayla goes in there and says, okay, I've been working on my striking, and what's the best way to test it out against someone that people believe is a good striker? So if she goes in that with that mindset and kind of, falls into what Jenna wants, which is a striking battle, then it could work into Jenna's favor. But when you get Jenna on her back, Kayla, man, she's just so strong. Like her ground and pound is just so nasty, and her guard passes are phenomenal. And we saw it right there against Cindy Dandawa. And Cindy Dandawa has pretty decent jiu-jitsu off her back, right? She has
Yes.
a bunch of armbar finishes, and Kayla sliced through her like, 15-year-old cheese.
Well, there we go. That about does it, lads. I think. I want to go eat. I haven't eaten today.
Me either. Don't cry.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I said you were
Drake,
making
John?
food during the fights, John.
No,
That's
my
for his
daughter.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
my daughter.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you see,
Well, what an
you can't lie
exciting
to,
day
you
it
can't
was.
lie to Drake. He remembers
Oh,
everything.
Alvin also loves listening to Mr. Riggs takes. I'll say
I
that.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Yes. Okay, that's about it. Yeah, I really do gotta have to go and eat. Is that English? What I just said? Yes, I'm starving, and I'm gonna enjoy my Saturday, my day off. So thank you, John, and thank you, Drake, for also spending time with me, for your great takes as well. And thanks everyone in the comments. It's been a pleasure for interacting and asking us. If you haven't already, please do smash a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Go download Fanatics. It's in the ticker there. It's in the description. Help us out. And when are we back? Maybe tomorrow for some UFC. I might do something. I will see if I can scare up some people
We
to
got
do that one.
UFC, we got Ryzen, we got more fighting, you guys.
It's gonna be
Yes,
hard,
Ryzen. Ryzen, I think Monday I'll try and do something with.
Let's just do
Anyone.
Monday, and we'll
all
do
of it.
Ryzen and UFC together at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
That
then
sounds
tomorrow
good.
you could take the day off again.
I mean, I'm working, so yeah. I gotta write the
Yeah, but
UFC stuff up. It's
Well,
a shit card.
that's not too much, right? It's like the
Yeah.
main event or whatever. So I think you'd be all right. So let's do Monday, man. Let's be back Monday. Monday, maybe
Yeah.
earlier than this, of course, right?
All right. Well, I am also interviewing Gary Tonin tomorrow, I think. So that'll be up some point. And anyone else got any interviews in the works for the channel?
No,
I don't know.
I'm working on some.
Probably
About
not. Doesn't sound
nothing
like
too
it.
confirmed. I'm working on some. I don't want to jinx it. So
I know, I
I'm
hate
not
doing
gonna
that
do
too. But I
jinxed
see you
myself.
there, Alvin.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still on, of course, every Monday, my man. WMA Today podcast.
Okay. Yeah. So listen to that podcast as well. WMMA Today. And yes, I'm going to leave this here. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next time. Thanks.